how are you? I hope you all are fine and you are enjoying your online classes and you are watching my videos also and you are doing your work. So I think you have completed your previous chapter 10 cyber safety. I have sent the PDF of this chapter, question answer and book work. We have done it and you have done this question answer in your notebook also. Now today I am going to start the chapter 8, that is more on CSS, more on cascading style sheets. But before going further, this is CSS is cascading style sheets, that is styles which can added in our web pages through the HTML program. So firstly you have to clear about the HTML programs. I think you all know about the HTML program, but today we will not start this chapter. Before starting this chapter, we will do some basic HTML program. 1 and 2 programs we will do, and then we will use these cascading style sheet attributes. So come with me. We are revising some basic HTML tags. Whenever we are starting the HTML program, that is divided into 2 parts. First is the head part and next is the body part. In head parts, we can give the title to the body, and in body parts, what you want to show in the web pages, that will be shown in the body part. And when we are starting the HTML program, that will started with the various tags. First tag is HTML. When you are starting your HTML program, that will started with the HTML tag. Which tag we are starting, that tag will also be ended. तो जो भी टैग हम स्टार्ट करेंगे उसका एंड जरूर होगा. तो जो भी टैग आपने स्टार्ट किया है उसको एंड भी करना है. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी हैव स्टार्टेड दिस HTML टैग. एट लास्ट ऑफ द प्रोग्राम दिस HTML टैग विल बी एंडेड विद दिस स्लैश. And then it means this HTML program is ended. When you are starting the HTML program, you will start this tag, then we will start the head tag. कि इसके हेड में हमने क्या लिखना है. इस प्रोग्राम के हेड में वी आर इंसर्टिंग द टाइटल. टाइटल में जो भी विच टाइटल यू वांट टू गिव टू दैट वेब पेज, यू कैन write down in that title part. After that you will end the title and then you will end your head part. When head part is ended, then we will start the body part. In body part we can write which we want to show on the web pages. Suppose we want to write some paragraph, then we will use the paragraph tag and then we will write the paragraph, and after that we will end this paragraph tag. If you want to write down some headings, then you can use the tags H1 to H6. H1, if you are using the H1 tag, that letter will be more bold and more bright. Then H2 font size will be smaller than the H1. Then H3 font size will be smaller than H2. Similarly, you can use the heading from H1 to H6 up to which format you want to show in the headings. You can use that tags H1, H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6. Next is this tag is for the comment sections. If you doesn't want to include any line in your program, just you want to read that line for increasing the readability of that program, then you can use the comment tag. This is the comment tag, sign of exclamation, then 2 dash, and after that whatever we want to write down, at last 2 dash, and that this tag is closed. If you want to give the breaks in your paragraph, in your lines, then you can use this BR, break line tag, and at last all tags will be ended. Whenever you are starting a tag, that will be ended. This is all about the tags of the HTML. Now I am writing the basic program in HTML. Just see that, and you have to do the practical of this. And I am also sending one reference video also with this, that how you can write this program and how you can run this program. Please see this my video plus this reference video carefully, and after that please run this program. Otherwise you will not be able to inserting these style sheets in the HTML program. अगर HTML program ही नहीं run कराना आएगा, then how you can insert these styles in the HTML or web pages. So come with me for the next some basic HTML program. This is the very simple program of the HTML, basic program of the HTML. From here we can start our HTML program. Here you can write down your HTML program. You will have to write down your HTML program in the notepad. Firstly, open the notepad all program and go to the start all program and then go to the notepad. When notepad will be open, then start writing this program with these tags. Firstly, we have started the HTML tag. Then I am starting the then we have started the head tag. In head, I have started the title. In title, I am writing the title of that page is my program. Then title is and. I don't want to write down anything more in the title. Then title is and I don't want to write down anything in the head. Then head is also and. Next, the body part is started. In the body part, first heading line, main heading I want to show, that is the my home. And H1 I am using, that will be the more, its font size will be more and it will be the bold mode. It will be the bold letters. Then my hobby, and in my hobby I have written these two lines. Then the paragraph is started, and in paragraph I have written I am fond of watching TV. Then I want to give a one line break, so I have used this break tag. इस tag का कोई end नहीं होता, that will be just started and this is it ending. Then I have used the break tag. Then one line will be left, and after that this line will be shown. Cartoon is my favorite program. And then paragraph is ended. Paragraph started, paragraph ended, and after that there is the body tag is ended, and then HTML tag is, and this program started from here, and here HTML program is the ended. This is all about the basic programs, and you have to write down this HTML program in the notepad. When you have written this in the notepad, then you have to save this program. How you can save this program? When you will click on the save, then it will ask you the file name. Then in the file name, whatever name you want to give, suppose I want to give the name S1. Then S1, and you have to give the extension .html. And here it is shown save as type. Then it will show text document. But आपने arrow पे click करके वहाँ आपने ये option set करनी है all files. These two you have to give. In file name, when you are saving this document, then in file name you will write down s1.html, and when you are saving, then save as type में you will have to opt the options all files. By this method you can save this file. I have given the name s1. जैसे आप इसको सेव कर लोगे, आपको ऊपर पाथ भी ध्यान रखना है. तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली आपको इसको कहाँ सेव करना है? यू हैव टू सेव दिस ऑन द डेस्कटॉप. You have to save this HTML program on the desktop. Whenever this program is saved on the desktop, you have saved this with the HTML extension. Then if you will see which browser is installed in your PC, sometimes Internet Explorer and sometimes Google Chrome is installed, then you will see that एक आपके डेस्कटॉप पे आपने इसको सेव किया, डेस्कटॉप पे गूगल क्रोम का ऐसे जो भी आइकन होगा वहाँ पर इस फाइल का नेम आ जाएगा इस तरह से S1. That icon will be shown on your desktop where you have saved this file, and you have to double click on this file. Whenever you will double click on this file, then the web page will be opened in front of you. अगर आपके प्रोग्राम में कोई एरर नहीं है, then it will be run safely. कोई एरर शो नहीं करेगा. Just whenever you will double click on it, it will show this page, and in this page, in title I have given what name I have given title. I think my program I have given. Then the title will be shown my program here, and in web page I have written the paragraph my hobby. Whatever lines I am watching TV is my hobby. Whatever lines I have written in the paragraph, that will be shown here. For this, you can create your web page through the HTML program. So I think this basic program is clear to you. So please open your pieces and do the practice of this HTML program. I am also sending one reference video with this. By watching this and that reference video, you can make a program easily, and you can run this program very easily. And फिर भी still you are facing any issues and problem, you can contact me. And please complete your notebook, because there are the 10 marks for your notebooks also in your September tests. So please complete your notebook and do the practice of this practicals also, because there will be your practicals also. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.
And open up Notepad now, and that's all you really need to follow this series. Now, if you have other editors, you can go ahead and use those as well. So in this video, we're going to create our very first web page using HTML. Now, web browsers can display a lot of different documents. It's not just HTML. They can display SVG files, XML files. So the very first thing we have to do is tell the browser what type of file this is. And we do that by using the doc type declaration. So this really isn't a HTML section, it's just a declaration, and we're telling the browser exactly what to open here. And so let's go ahead and type in doc type HTML. And we put an exclamation point there, we type in doc type, and we type in HTML. And it's that simple. So the browser moves in a top-down manner. So it'll hit this first, it'll realize that this is HTML, and that's the language that it's going to use to render the web page. Now, it used to be in previous versions of HTML, such as 4.01, you actually had to type out the version here. And while that might not seem like a huge pain, it becomes a pain if you have hundreds of web pages. Every time there was a new version, you had to go out here and put the new version in. So if there was a 4.5, you would have to come in here and go ahead and update that. And that became a real pain. So somebody came up with a brilliant idea that if you put HTML there, it'll load the most current version. And the current version is 5. So yes, we're going to be using HTML5 in this tutorial. And what's nice about this is if an HTML6 or an HTML7 or 8 or 9 comes out in the future, you won't have to come back here and change this. You'll be using the very current version of HTML. Just like we are right now, we're going to be using the current version, and if there's an HTML6, this code will still be relevant. It'll still be using HTML6. Now, the very first thing that comes after the doc type declaration is the HTML element, and we create that by typing in HTML. And then if you remember from the first video, this is the opening tag, and we need a closing tag, so we put a slash here. Now, this really is not a section of our HTML document. It's more like a wrapper, and that is everything in our document will go between this HTML element, between this opening tag and this closing tag. But you really can forget about this, because I like to think of this as kind of a behind the scenes thing. Is not really something you need to be concerned about. It's just kind of like a starting and ending point that tells the browser where the HTML starts and where the HTML ends. But again, you can kind of forget about it. Let's just create some spaces here, and there it is. Okay, so there's not a lot of action going on there. We just need those, and that's that. And again, it's really not a section, it's more of a wrapper where we put all of our code into. Okay, now the first real section that we need that comes after HTML is called the head section. And you guessed it, we need a head tag and we need a closing tag, which will make up the head element. And so we put our usual slash here. And now we've got our first real section. Now, this is also not a huge section that you need to be concerned about. We'll be using this section a little bit more in the future, but this isn't, again, a real critical section. But we will do one thing today here. Now, the head section contains a lot of information about the page itself. And so this is stuff like the title of the page. That's actually the only thing that you'll really display here is the title of the page. It goes in the top menu, and we'll do that in a few minutes. But it also can be used to identify the language of the page, like if it's in Swedish or French, German, and so on. Now, there are also some other areas that we'll get to in the future. We don't need to be worried about these right now, but there are something called meta tags. But we'll get to that at a later time. You also put in some of your JavaScript references here, but we'll get into that later as well. But for now, we're just going to put the title element inside our head section. And again, the title element is what shows up in the title bar of the web browser. And we'll see that when we render this page a little bit later. And so within our head element, we're going to embed another element, and you guessed it, it's called title. And we're going to go ahead and just say my web page, whatever that is. And then, yes, we need a closing tag. And now we've got our title element, and we've got our title that will be displayed. If this was the web browser, it would be displayed up here, and we'll see that in a few moments. So that's all we need to be concerned about right now, and let's move on to the body section. And this is where all of the action takes place. This is really the heart and soul of your web page, and it needs also a closing tag as well. And so again, it all happens right in here. This is the primary section of your web page. And pretty much everything that's between these two tags in the body element will show up on your web page, with a few exceptions. Of course, this title up here will actually be displayed on the menu bar, but everything else that's displayed to the user will be done within the body element. And so let's talk about that right now. So now we need to insert something within our body tags. In this tutorial, we're just going to insert some simple headings and some simple text. That's all. Now, obviously, later on, we'll get to images and hyperlinks and a lot more. But today, we're just going to insert some simple text along with some simple headings. So the first thing we need is a heading. And you use the H tag for that, and it's H1. And then we're going to close that tag as well. And what this does is it will create larger text, because this is going to identify a section of our website. So we're going to call this the fish website. And there we go. And so again, that's the text for our header. And so all the text will be contained in there for our header. Now we want to say what this website's about. And so let's use the P element to create that. So we'll go ahead and create a P tag. And we'll create an ending P tag. And what the P element does is it creates a paragraph, and obviously it stands for paragraph, for any text that we want to put in a paragraph. So we're going to say, welcome to the fish website. Everything you want to know about fish is in this website. There we go. And so again, this ending tag says, hey, the paragraph ends here, and it'll go on to the next tag, which is going to be actually another header, because we're going to identify another section of this website. So we're going to go ahead and use the H tag, but in this case, you make this H2. And what this tag does is the text is a little bit smaller, because this isn't the main section, it's just another section under this section. So you'll notice that the text within this element, this H2 element, will be a little bit smaller. So we're going to say this is a section on bass fish. And then we'll go ahead and just go ahead and close this out with H2. And then we're going to go ahead and create another paragraph with text. And we're going to say, bass fish live in lakes. That's great. Okay, and so that's all we need. And so now let's go ahead and render this and see how these headers and paragraphs are displayed in our first web page. So you want to go ahead and hit Save As, and we're going to call this Test. I'm going to save this on the desktop. Make sure you put test.html, and then we'll go ahead and minimize this. And now all you have to do is go ahead and double click our HTML file, and there you see we have our first web page. And you can see here the H1 tag formatted it with the largest text, and then here was our paragraph, and you can see it made it just regular size. Now later on I'll show you how we can adjust the font size here, but it creates a standard font size for this paragraph. And then we created our second header, which is right here, and you'll see that it's a little bit smaller than the text up here, right? The text size up here is a little bit smaller. And then we had our other paragraph in which we said bass fish live in lakes. And so this is the very first web page. Now we're going to explore many more HTML tags. This is just a bare bones site, but I hope you get the idea now how the structure works in HTML. That's the basic structure, and if you can understand that, you're well on your way to understanding HTML. Now, I will point out that this is a good way to test your HTML. Now, later on, I will show you how to upload these files to a web server, and then you would be live. People can actually see this out on the internet. But for our purposes now, we can just double click on the HTML file on our desktop and do the testing here. And that's a great way to test your HTML to see if it works. Now, I just want to make a couple more points before we close this video out. You'll notice that under the header sections here, the H tags will format the text with bold. So you can see that right here, this text is in bold. Both headers do that. And of course you can see the title that we added, my web page, it's right up here. Okay, that's gonna do it for this tutorial. I will see you guys in the next tutorial.